My name is Patrick Hewlett, and I was selected to be the King Scholar for this academic year, and I'm a second-year medical student at Eastern Virginia Medical School. Being a scholarship recipient has really allowed me to focus on my studies and work on doing the best I can in my medical education classes, rather than worrying about getting extra income from a second job. My wife and I both have financial loans from our undergraduate and graduate work, and this has really lessened the financial burden on us.
Well, he was born here in the Northern Neck, and he had 5 brothers and 1 sister. His dad ran the country store and was a farmer, and his mom was the local midwife for the county, and she delivered a lot of babies over the years. When he was about 7, he wrote a letter to the Northern Neck News to tell them all about himself, but what he didn't tell them is that he had already decided that he wanted to go to medical school. And of course, eventually he did. But it was a long course, and that's part of the reason why I'm here now.
EVMS was my top choice for medical school because it is closest to my family, who reside on the Eastern Shore, and it's a very community-oriented school, and of the medical schools I interviewed at, this was the most welcoming and most student-friendly of all the campuses that I interviewed. From what I know about this King Scholarship, Dr. King was a student trying to get into medical school and had to apply a couple times because he was unable to pay.
And at 16, he went off to college, graduated college, and applied to MCV. And they accepted him. Well, they accepted him, but they didn't accept the fact that he didn't have any money at all. So there was no way he was going to go to medical school, so he got a job in the coal mines.
And a neighborhood friend of his offered to pay his way through medical school.
There was a lady well known in this community who looked for young people like my dad who needed to get an education. And she found out about him, and she wrote him a letter offering to loan him $600 for each of those 4 years of medical school.
And once he was finished with his medical education, he was supposed to pay her back. But when he finished, she said if he could just pay it forward to someone else, he wouldn't have to pay her back for his medical education.
And he worked hard, and he did real well. And when he graduated, she wrote him another letter saying, the loan is forgiven, that's it. But there's one proviso: you should do the same thing for somebody else.
Upon his death, his family established a scholarship at Eastern Virginia Medical School from his estate.
And after he died, we decided that we would formalize it a little bit, especially because of our ties with EVMS. And so that's why the scholarship exists and why Patrick will be the first recipient of that scholarship.
If I could speak to the family about this scholarship, I would just want them to know how grateful I am for giving me the opportunity to have this scholarship and to, I guess, help my medical education and help pay my financial obligations to the school. And it's really allowed me to, as I said, focus on my academics, and it's just been a great blessing for my wife and I.
I advise you, if you're thinking about sending somebody to medical school or to nursing school or to dental school, that it probably will be one of the wisest investments that you ever make, because it goes from one generation to the next. It may even leapfrog generations and go to the next and the next and the next. And it is the closest thing to immortality that you can give yourself.